This is video 2 from Unit 3, Lesson 2. So we're going to talk some more about functions and function rules, and then we're also going to look at graphing some lines. Okay, we want to graph this line from a table. So here is my equation, but I want to make a table and graph my line based on the table. So I can take any values for x. I'm going to just do negatives and positives. So I'm going to do these 5. So these are my x values. So this is what I'll plug in for x. So for example, I'm going to do -3 times -2 plus 4. And that gives me 10. And I'll do the same thing for -1. -3 times -1 plus 4. That gives me 7. Okay, same thing for these 3. You can pause and try it on your own. And we get 4, 1, and -2. Okay, and then these correspond to the ordered pairs that I'm going to graph. -2, 10, -1, 7, 0, 4, 1, 1, 2, -2. Okay, so I'm going to graph these 5 ordered pairs. The scale on my graph is just 1. So it's a 10 by 10 graph. I know the grid lines are a little light and they might be a little hard to see. Okay, so my first point is at -2, +10. -1, 7. Zero, 4. 1, 1. And 2, -2. Okay, and as you can see, these points form a line, and I want to graph the line, so I'm actually going to connect to these. Lines are continuous, so they have arrows at their end. Okay. All right, let's look at another example. Again, maybe pause this video, do the example, and then you can play it back. All right, so I need to make a table. This time I'm going to be a little bit more selective with the points I'm going to plug in. You can still plug in -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. However, you will get some decimals. So I'm going to look at my denominator. My denominator is 3. So I want to pick multiples of 3 because then when I substitute those in, I will get whole numbers, and those are just easier to graph. So I'm going to do -6, -3, 0 is still okay, 3, and 6. Alright, so I'm going to do 2/3 times negative 6 minus 5. So type that in your calculator. You should get negative 9. Okay, here I should get negative 7. When I plug in 0, I should get negative 5. When I plug in 3, I should get negative 3. And when I plug in 6, I should get negative 1. Okay, so then these are the ordered pairs that I graphed. Negative 6, negative 9. Negative 3, negative 7. 0, negative 5. 3, negative 3. And 6, negative 1. Okay, let me mark my scale. Again, I'm going to count by ones. So this is 10 by 10. Alright, so negative 6. Negative 9. Negative 3. Negative 7. Zero, negative 5. 3, negative 3. And 6, negative 1. Okay, after I graph my points, now I'm going to connect them with a line. And then I'm going to put arrows at the end of my line. Okay. So that is how we graph lines from a table. Now we're going to try to write function rules or equations from the given word problems. Okay, so first one, there is a picture in a magazine of a laptop computer. The real size of the laptop is 20 times the size of this picture. Write a function rule to describe this relationship. Okay? So we have two variables. We could call them x and y, or we could call them other things too. So we have that, we have the size of the magazine. So we have the magazine laptop, and we have the real laptop. Okay, now it says the real size of the laptop is. Okay, so is in math also means equal. So the real size, so the real laptop is y, and then is. So y equals 20 times the size of the picture. All right, well, 20 times means 20 times, and then x. Okay, so here's our equation, or our function rule. We might also write it, since it says function rule, as f of x equals 20 times x, but y is okay. All right, the space bar on the real laptop is about 4.25 inches long. What's the size of the space bar in the magazine? Okay, we have real laptop, which is variable y. So this is going to go in for y. So I'm going to use my equation. I'm going to use y equals 20 times x, and then I'm going to plug 4.25 in for y. Okay, and to solve, I need to divide by 20. So 4.5 divided by 20 is going to be a small number. And I got 0.225. So the size of the spacebar in the magazine is 0.225 inches. Okay, good. So we wrote a function rule, and then we used that to answer a question. Okay, let's look at another problem. Suppose you buy a word processing software for $199 and you charge $15 per hour to create documents. Write a rule that describes your profit as a function of the number of hours you work. Alright, so it tells me what my two variables are. We have profit and number of hours you work. So profit as a function of the number of hours that you work, that's going to be my x. You're writing a function of this. And then profit is your y, or your f of x. Okay. So I'm going to start with y equals, and then I want to look at these numbers here and see how they apply to this rule. So you're going to buy a word processing software for $199. Okay, that's a one-time charge. So when I put that in, I'm not going to put a variable. But then you get $15 per hour to create documents. So the per hour is a giveaway that it's going to change based on the number of hours, so I have to put x there. Okay, so 15x. Alright, now with the $199, I have to decide whether that's going to be added or subtracted. So remember, I'm writing a rule to describe profit. And you had to buy the $199, or the software, for $199. So you have to subtract that from your profit, because that was a cost. So minus $199. You might see this y written as p of x. The only reason why p is there is because of profit. And we're subtracting the $199 instead of adding it is because we're talking about profit, and $199 is actually a cost. Okay, that wraps things up. You're now ready to do Unit 3, Assignment 3.